Hello, everyone. Sorry, a little delay there, me catching that we've gone live. So welcome to the Be More Successful Show. I'm your host, Leslie Hassler. I own Your Biz Rules Business Coaching and the Small Business Collaborative. And what I do is work with service-based businesses in the areas of growth and scalability, but more importantly, in ways that are very sustainable and maintainable, improve your life, get you kind of out of the weeds in your business, and produce cash and profits so that you can continue to grow, reward yourself, reward your team, and impact the community at large. So today we're talking about 3 powerful ways that you can empower your employees to help scale your business. And I think we all understand the role that team and employees have in our business. We'll just kind of briefly mention that in a minute, but I wanted to perhaps give you one of the people out there that is the most passionate about this subject. And truly that would be Richard Branson. So my apologies for that really small quote, but 1 minute while I was a little late. I was trying to make it bigger. Anyway, so clients do not come first. Employees come first. If you take care of the employees, they will take care of the clients. And I believe that this quote right here is important to have. Like, you could print this out and put it up on your bulletin board and have a lot of value from that. So let's talk about this concept for a little bit. I'm going to move one thing over. So, okay, that's much better. So when we're looking at this, you look in the way of team and employees, and it's probably the area that most business owners make the most mistakes. And even in my first business, I will own up to the mistakes I made with my team. As I was trying to learn and figure out how to be a good manager, how to be an inspiration to my team, and really what to do with it. And so I just kind of wanted to go over some of those really common mistakes that we make as business owners when it comes to the team. So one of those mistakes I think we make is we hire a team because we have too many tasks. And the way that we hire tends to just shift. You shift the tasks, but you're not shifting your management, if that makes sense. So you just go from managing the task to managing the person. And there's this element of when you hire an employee whose whole job is to come to you and see what else you need, that does not free up your time. It just moves responsibilities. And I tell you, I have that would be my dog. I have 2 VAs that I am trying out next week, and I worked on their to-dos, the projects and the things I needed from them. And it required a lot of education, lots of screenshots, go here, do this, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Right? And just so that they would have a complete amount of information. Well, doing that task, like getting ready for them to do something for 10 hours, that took me 5 hours. Right? Now, I should get, at least that 5-hour return, if you will, from the time in to the time out. But we're at that stage where we're learning. But that's not what I need from this person long term. I need somebody that can come in and do things. I know for the next week, I've got to be much more instructive and directive so that I can see who I work best with in this case. But a lot of people don't make that as a conscious decision in their hiring. They hire to give the tasks away, but not necessarily hire to create results. And there is a difference. There was a great podcast I had listened to from one of the founders of Lead Pages, and he talked about this concept and how hard it was for him to learn when they were scaling Lead Pages, that he didn't need to hire for the task, he needed to hire for the result. And that meant that he actually made higher significant investments in his team, but he hired somebody that could run with it and handle all those little bitty details. It was only when he did that Did he truly see some return of time, his ability to not necessarily worry about the tasks anymore, just manage the results, which is a completely different time requirement from you as a business owner. And so there really is this kind of, if you'll think of circle of life, where you've got to shift your attention from controlling or managing the task to actually growing a culture-based framework of people who are all moving forward to your goal, which is whatever that growth goal is for your business or your purpose goal or your mission goal. And I think when you look at this, is like if you take care of the team takes care of the business then comes back and takes care of you. And so it is a life cycle. But we do have to shift a few things. We have to put some things into place. We've got to make sure that we've got the right people in the right seats on the right bus going the right direction. And each of those little areas are opportunities for people to interject their own ideals into where they think a business should going. And I find this occurring more in businesses where we've had certain employees who have been a part of our past success, definitely have been a part of their past success, but they're not able to move past the past. So they get stuck in the, well, we didn't do this. We've never done it this way kind of a thing. Well, I don't think we should do that. We should do this. And there's this a little bit of a growing pain you go when you're going from yourself and maybe 1 to 2 from that element into 5, 10, or 20, especially, that you've got to really help motivate and inspire and educate them along, but also be willing to say, this is where our paths diverge. So it's really a matter of how much change can your person really embrace, because not everybody can handle that kind of change. But if your business needs it in order to be able to grow and scale, if you're going to do something different enough to see a result, you've got to make sure that you've got people at the table on your bus, sitting in your seats, that are willing to go the direction you're willing to go. And so when we look at this and making really, if we're going to be more successful in our growth and our scalability, we've got to get into that transition of going from task manager to team builder. And there's 3 things that we're going to do. Number 1 is put in a foundation. Now, your foundation, the foundation blocks in this area are things like your mission, your vision, your values, the purpose, your big hairy ass goal, right? Your BHAG, those type of visionary things of where we're going. Now, your team can definitely be a part of this, but because it's a small business, because up till now you have driven, you have been your business, so to speak, I think a lot of that does need to be directed from you. Now, as you evolve, this should be a part of your yearly strategic planning. I just sent out an email this morning to my community about what you should be doing from a strategic planning standpoint for 2021. One of those things is going back to the mission, the vision, the values, making sure that are we in alignment with this? Does this speak to who we are today? How well have we been using this as a guidepost? Because that's really the key here in creating people, creating a team that would act as you would act, is making sure that that mission, vision, values isn't just a piece of paper sitting on the table that you can't remember. And I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about the power of values and making sure that it's something that just rolls off your tongue, that it's that innate in your culture, in what you do. And that way it serves as a backbone. It serves as a guidepost. And when people have these rally points that they can come to, they protect them. And that is exactly what you want. When you're looking for ownership and accountability from your team, you want them to defend it. You want them to walk up to you and go, you are not exhibiting XYZ value, and you need to get in line. You want that. I mean, that's when they're fighting for your business as much as you are. And that's a tremendous feeling. It's a tremendous moment if that happens to you. So do that, right? Put forth those building blocks and bring it back up. You are that champion. If you're going to transition from, a task manager to a team builder, you've got to be the voice, and you've got to be willing to say it so many times that you get sick and tired of hearing yourself, right? I heard a guy talk, and somebody was like, well, how often do I need to say this? And the speaker said, well, that moment you get that little pit in your stomach, the one like you're thinking, man, if I have to say this one more time, I'm just going to puke. He goes, that's the moment you're just scratching the surface. So keep saying it. Be consistent. So that's number one. Number two is really about equipping your team. You need to equip your team in a way that promotes problem solving, promotes acting in alignment with our mission, vision, and values, right? And you do it, I think the way that I look at it is the adage of, how do you teach a man to fish? Well, you show him to fish, you teach him to, or what is it? Show, tell, watch. Tell, show, watch. Sorry. Tell, show, watch. I even have it in the right order there. Can you believe that? Tell, show, watch. So, but if you're going to teach them to do it, and then you're enabling them to learn how to do it, and then you give them the opportunity to go do it and still not be perfect. I think we have this, it's a fine line to walk, right? We want competency, we want proficiency, we want things to be done right, especially as a business owner, because there's just so much stress when things don't go right. But we need to still have this flexibility of learning, flexibility of taking the ownership and bringing it on and actually doing something with it. And it's a bit like, when your team member gets it right, rewarding it, celebrating the ever loving out of it, right? Because that is the feeling you want them to have continually. And you want it to be addictive. You want them to be proud of their work. Because again, when they're proud of their work, when they're like, man, I got this, they're going to do so much of a better job for you. But if all they ever get is overdue criticism, then they're just going to be like, well, it's never right, so it doesn't matter. It's one of like these fine lines. That is not to say that you should accept poor quality work after training and after, documentation and things like that. I definitely believe that you should. I think it should be slow to hire, quick to fire. But I think there's a balance there. There's a balance of not expecting perfection right off the bat, understanding that people have to develop proficiency, even if they had skills in another company, because the way you want it done is going to be different. And so they need to be given time to learn that. And then the last thing is really empowering your team. There's this role of the firefighter in small business that is not a fun place to be. And I have to let you know that as the owner, if you feel like a firefighter, you're contributing to the problem. In the ways that you're contributing to the problem is that you're not empowering and equipping your team members. And the hardest thing is, for most entrepreneurs, we're problem solvers. That's what we do. The hardest thing in the world is to keep your mouth quiet and not solve the problem. Because the reason that they're coming to you is because you solve the problems. If you want your team to solve those problems on their own, you're going to have to do the most difficult part of, I think, management, life, child rearing, is really when you go, what is it that you think you need to be doing? Wow, that sounds great. Make sure you think of this. Come back and tell me how it worked out. Right? It's that empowering them to make the decision and giving them the freedom to implement it. It is that letting go of control, right, that truly builds a team that will be empowered and will be cheerleading every step of the way along your business growth. So let's get you out of the weeds. Let's get you away from doing the menial things in your business, the things that you should not be doing. Remember, you should only be doing the things that only you can do. And filing and task admin-oriented things, and even some of your marketing is probably not the best use of your skill set. You serve your business the best when you're working on the business, not in it. So that's it for today, guys. Hey, if you enjoyed today's topic, please give us a little shout out. Tell me you were here, share it, and especially share it. I think that's how we get this message out to the people that need to hear it. And I really appreciate it when you do that. So thank you so much for today. We'll be back next Tuesday morning with another episode of the Be More Successful Show. And until then, I'm Leslie Hassler with Your Biz Rules Business Coaching. May your week be profitable.